Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 7th of May. My name is Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
And Gary, another big auction week in Melbourne, and not just in Melbourne at Gary Peer & Associates. A thumping week for us.
What a Saturday we had, Philip. We had 6 auctions, one after the other, and bang, they were all sold.
6 out of 6 on Saturday. We could call that Super Saturday, but before we do call it Super Saturday, Gary, I just want to say to the viewers, how lovely you look today. You took last week's comment at heart, you went to the hairdresser, you've had yourself beautied, coiffed up, you look fantastic. So just remain that way, Gary, because the viewers want to see a sharp-looking Gary Peer.
You're impressed now.
I'm impressed.
What happened to you? You know, he grew up on a farm. He was a real natural person. They'd all be ashamed of you, I reckon, all those farmers. What happened to you? What did you become? Anyway, look at him.
I became an urbane real estate agent man about town, Gary, but that's enough about me. It's enough about you.
That's your view.
Let's talk about Super Saturday, because it really was a great Saturday.
What happened with you and the sheep anyway?
The sheep is another story, and I did mean to bring a little photo of me and the sheep, but I will bring it in next week.
You should.
Let's talk about some of the auctions on Saturday. I want to talk about one particular one that I did in Packington Street, Paran.
That was at the end of the day, but we
it
can get out
was
of order.
Because this is a really interesting sign of the market. The vendor for Packington Street, in a fit of blood or a rush of blood to his head last year, bought this property at auction for his daughter, realised it wasn't quite right, got caught up in a bidding duel last year and paid what he considered to be an over-the-top price. Paid $1,325,000. It was 559 square metres of land. Decided that they would buy something else, so resold it, and we resold it on the weekend less than 12 months later. He knew he was going to lose money on the transaction because by the time you add his purchase price and stamp duty and selling cost, he knew he was going to lose a lot of money. He was prepared to sell it on the weekend for less than what he paid. We thought he might have to. Had a most incredible auction, Gary, and sold it for $1,415,000.
Yeah.
So absolutely great result, and shows about an 8% increase over a 10-month period. So there's a great sign of the market.
There was a number of other very strong auctions on the weekend. One of those other auctions, Philip, was in Vortier Street in Elwood. We talked a little bit about that property on GPTV a few weeks ago, but that was a humdinger of an auction, Phil.
It was very big
we had
crowd.
3 or 4 strong bidders going for it. Our reserve was $1,800,000, and we sold it for in excess of that, Philip. We sold it for
$1,890,000.
We did, but there was an interesting agreement because there was a little bit added on to the price that was negotiated as part of the term of settlement.
A settlement term.
That's right. So it actually ended up selling for $1,904,450. Try working the deposit balance of that contract out. But that was great.
Great result. Really strong result.
Very, very strong result. Some of the other auctions, Philip, there was an undisclosed sale that we sold in the morning, a property in Campbell Road. You did that one?
I did. Gorgeous single-fronted Victorian house with a really cute renovation done to it. Stylish renovation, actually, that we passed in and sold about 15% more than what we passed it in for, so that was a very good post-auction negotiation.
In Shirley Grove, we sold that home under competitive bidding, $788,000, that's at East St Kilda, and we sold a property in Lock Street in Brighton East. I went down and checked out Leo Samuel. He did a damn fine auction too, passed it in and ended up selling it shortly thereafter auction for somewhat more than the pass-in price. So,
and a good block of land with a lettable house in Venus Street, Gary.
That's right.
Sold for, you got the selling price there? Because I can't remember.
I have got the selling price.
$811,000.
Yeah,
so a really strong Saturday. Let's talk about Sunday.
Big Sunday, also our first auction of the day was a lovely home, also featured on GPTV. That is 1 at 27 Leeburn Avenue, Philip. Magnificent property, 3 bidders, and a very interesting mix of bidders. In fact, the buyer is somebody who lives in the city, who saw it online, and it's always interesting to know where buyers come from. A very lovely couple who purchased that property under auction conditions, bought it for $1,435,000. That sold for, Philip, in Leeburn Avenue with 3 bidders going for it. Let's talk about some of the other auctions of the day because it was a very busy one. Philip, St Albans Avenue we haven't yet sold.
No, that's palatial apartment. I'd be looking at that online, ladies and gentlemen, viewers, because that is a sensational large apartment at an irreplaceable price.
One of the properties that you did sell, Philip, was in Armand Street. Tell us a bit about that one, 24A Armand Street.
That was approximately 400 square metres of land, Gary. We had a couple of people bidding against each other. We passed it in, negotiated the sale afterwards, and we sold that in the early $700,000 range.
725 to be precise.
It was, and
Precisely.
I think that the new owners of that will rent it out for a while and then pull it down and build a new home.
One of the other properties that we sold on Sunday, late in the afternoon, Phil, coffee time it was, getting on in the day, it was a number 1 Crottenhurst Avenue. That was a beautiful home, prestige property. It wasn't also sold not so long ago, but the vendors have moved on, and that's sold for an undisclosed amount, but right up there in the top end of the market.
I could say in excess of $2 million.
North of $2 million. You could say that, and if you couldn't say it, well, you have now, it's a bit too late. Let's talk about where we are right now, Philip, in Oron Crescent, in the heart of Caulfield North, as you like to say. Tell us about this home.
Gary, this is the most phenomenal house. I've been coming here for a little while because we tried to get this on the market, I think sometime last year, and then the vendors changed their mind.
They vacillated.
It's back on the market. Yeah. One of the things I love about this, firstly, it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, fabulous, beautiful renovated house. You've got all of the period charm outside, but with all of the modern details inside, and they have got such stylish presentation.
Yep.
Everything's right here, the furniture, the artwork, really just it's a showpiece home, Gary. So
it's a credit to the owners. We're right in the heart of Oron Crescent, a great street with some beautiful homes around you. We've got our office up the road. Don't know if that's a detraction or a feature, but we've got the bus close by, tram close by.
Are we allowed to say who the owners are and what they do?
I think probably not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to say.
It is a prominent owner in business.
But suffice to say,
they've got style, Phil.
They have style,
yeah.
and they are in a stylish and creative business.
Yes. So look, keep a watch out for this one in Oron Crescent. We've had some good numbers through already, Phil. We expect this to be very sought after, and why not?
Let's talk about next weekend. What have we got happening next weekend? We've had some massive weekends in a row. I think we had a weekend last weekend when we had 18 auctions, 13 auctions this week.
We should put our graph up, shouldn't we?
We should.
Okay. We sold, how many? 9 of 13?
9 of 13. So
9 of 13.
Today, this weekend, we're just marginally under the industry clearance rate.
But we don't need to put the towers up in that case, but 9 of 13. We did clean a few others up, by the way. There's a couple that we didn't sell. Edinburgh Avenue, we've now sold that one. The Heath Drive, we've now sold that one. There's another flat, Westby Street, we've now sold that one.
Interesting note for viewers to understand that the industry, when we have a 65% or a 70% clearance rate, generally speaking, the industry will sell of the ones that were passed in. So we say a 70% clearance rate, 30% are passed in. Of that 30%, probably about 75% of the 30% are sold within about 4 weeks of the auction. Yeah. So it's important for people to understand that it's a process.
Darren Krongold, God bless him, he kind of keeps all our records, an obsessive record keeper, a collector, and he tells me at the end of every year what our actual annual clearance rate was, and it's usually between 92 and 96%. So there isn't very many, even I think we've got 97 or 98% one year, but it's just about everything sells. Usually.
Everything that goes to auction, generally speaking, with us anyway, does sell.
This weekend, Philip, you are off. You are on the bench. You are subbed off for no particular reason other than the vendors have the good sense to employ the superior auctioneer of the company. So I've got 4 auctions that I'm doing this weekend. That's not a big one, but why don't you take us through some of those?
Let's talk about what you're doing, Gary. A villa unit, a 2-bedroom villa unit, villa unit number 6 at 21 Gardenvale Road, Caulfield South. Love those villas. Great places to live and great investment.
Good position and very affordable.
You're then moving on to apartment 22 at 46 to 50 Hotham Street, St Kilda East. Beautiful renovated 2-bedroom apartment, so you'll have some fun there.
Great position there. I'm going to be at 12:30 at a property in Brown Street in East Brighton, Philip. That's a really interesting property. It's a townhouse, very spacious, beautifully appointed, only a few years old, and very much looking forward to that. We've actually sold units 1 and units 2. We've saved the best to last. And this is unit 3. We had to wait for the tenants to leave. It was rented out, but we will be there at 12:30.
And Sunday? What have you got on Sunday?
We're expecting interest somewhere in that sort of 720 to 800 range. We are on Sunday. It's Mother's Day, Phil, on Sunday. So while you're out doing lovely things with your mother, just spare a thought for me, the worker of the crew. I'm going to be doing auction in Meadow Street in St Kilda East, Phil. This property, I don't mind showing it to you, ladies and gentlemen, 3 at 4A Meadow Street, St Kilda East. Probably going to be our auction of the week. There's been a lot of interest in that. That is a great address.
Fantastic address.
And a terrific,
and a really good
huge apartment. So that one's going to be coming up at 11:30, and I might take my mum out for lunch after that.
That'd be so nice of you. I think that's a wrap for GPTV for the week, Gary.
It is.
Thank you again for watching GPTV. My name is Philip Kingston. Have a great week.
Gary Pearce signing off, and for all the mums out there, have a lovely Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
See you next week. Cheers.